Have you ever made a romantic decision that you now wish you could take back? Perhaps you said or didn't say something. Perhaps there was a time when you let your ego or pride to rule, and now you find yourself wondering, what if? Today we are discussing a single mistake that 95% of guys do in relationships, and the majority of them have severe regrets about it. The worst thing? It's frequently too late by the time they recognize it. However, before we get into the specifics, allow me to ask you this. Are you really there for the ones you love? Or are you also doing this without realizing it? You'll know exactly what to avoid and how to spare yourself the heartache of regret if you stick with me through this entire video. Therefore, what is this one thing that most men regret? This is it. Taking the relationship and their spouse for granted. Consider it. It begins modestly. You lose sight of the small gestures your spouse makes for you, like sending you a good morning text, making fun of your jokes, and being there for you no matter what. You think they'll stay there forever. I'll tell you a story. A man, let's call him David, was there. He had been with someone who genuinely loved him for 5 years. However, David eventually settled in. He ceased to express gratitude for the modest gestures of generosity. He ceased asking how her day was going and scheduling dates. It wasn't until she left that he realized what he was doing. He realized that he had taken her affection for granted at that point. He believed that she would always be there, but love isn't like that. Respect doesn't either. Men frequently don't recognize the consequences until it's too late when they take their relationships for granted. Regret is an emotional burden that lingers with you. It's not just a passing emotion. Consider mentally reliving certain occasions and considering all the possible outcomes you could have achieved. The moments when you ought to have said, "I love you," but chose not to. The instances in which you dismissed their emotions or disregarded the work they were doing to strengthen the bond. The psychological effects of regret can be incapacitating. It's about how it affects your self-esteem, not simply about the broken relationship. You begin to wonder, why didn't I notice it sooner? What prevented me from acting differently? It hurts to lose someone you love, but it hurts even more to know that you could have changed the outcome but chose not to. The good news is that there is still time to make a change. You can avoid joining the 95% by taking a few easy actions, whether you're starting over or still in a relationship. First, speak honestly and frequently. Ask your partner what they need instead of waiting for them to tell you. Make them feel important and heard. Just asking, "How can I make your day better?" can have a big impact. Second, express gratitude. Never undervalue the importance of thankfulness. Give your mate praise for the small things in life. Inform them when you observe them making an effort in the relationship. Third, be there. Social media, job, and other obligations can easily divert one's attention in today's environment. Nothing, however, can take the place of spending quality time. Set your phone down, meet their gaze, and give the situation your whole attention. Lastly, accept accountability. Accept responsibility for your faults. Offer a heartfelt apology and try to restore confidence. Being flawless isn't important. What matters is demonstrating your willingness to change and advance. Relationships ultimately depend on work, respect, and love. You run the danger of losing something you might never get back if you take your relationship for granted. However, Love has the capacity to get stronger over time if you decide to value and nurture the relationship. I'll leave you with this then. Examine your relationship and your spouse and ask yourself if you are really giving it your best. Because regret is a burdensome thing, but effort and thankfulness, they have the power to alter everything. If this speaks to you, pause now and consider what you have done. Additionally, don't delay if there is anything you need to say or do to correct the situation. Although there is no guarantee for tomorrow, the love you cultivate now can endure forever.